I thought it would be fun to show you some, just kind of the behind the scenes things. And so I put together this and I'm going to make it really quick. So it may be a little interactive. So I'm going to have you do some following along. This will be a test to see how well you're listening. This is the Library of Congress, if you've never been here. And I have to brag a little bit. I took this photograph from the top of the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol. If you ever want to do a dome tour of the Capitol, do it on an election year. Your chances of getting that tour is a whole lot better. But this is the Jefferson Building. Behind that is the Adams and the Madison over there. And let me find my pointer. And my office is right near that far corner. So just for... This is the library's building, and you can see the big dome with the torch of knowledge on the top. So I want everyone to raise their arm with the torch of knowledge. We're going to take that back. Good. See? You guys are great. In that right under that torch is a dome. And this dome goes over the main reading room, which is just incredible. If you ever have a chance to come, when school librarians come and I take them on a tour, they walk in there, and some of you are people who have done this, and they get teary-eyed and go, oh, this is like Mecca. But up in the top of the dome is this painting, and the painting signifies that this learner is lifting her veil of ignorance. She's becoming enlightened. But notice this person here holding the book is not trying to swat this bird. This is a real live bird. And if any of you have followed any of the information on the news, this hawk came into the library. They don't know how, but if you go to the library's website and do a search for the blog about the hawk, it'll tell you all about this Cooper's hawk that came, and I missed it. So I had hoped that I would be there with my binoculars like everybody else in the reading room watching the hawk, but I missed that. So that's the hazards of living two places and going back and forth. This is the main reading room area in the lower level. This is where the conveyors come from down below, and it's a really complicated system, but it's really neat if you get to see it. If you're like Nicolas Cage and you want to escape from the library, there's this side door. This is my colleague, Anne. And last summer, when we had our summer institutes, we went to the main reading room after it had closed, and the librarians there actually took people down into that section. I don't think you got to go because you were on your cart with the magic broken legs, right, Amy? But it's just a pretty neat spot. This is down when you come down those stairs. That's how Nicolas Cage escaped. And other movies, the new movie by Dan Brown, or the new book by Dan Brown that's going to be a movie, that's where he also escaped. But just pretty incredible, kind of cool stuff. There are pneumatic tubes like at the bank where they send the little notices, and the pneumatic tubes do not look like our modern ones. Some of them even had little leather clasps on the top. I mean, the stuff was built in 1897, so they're still using it, and some of it still even works. So talk about our technology. Sometimes the low-tech stuff continues to function. And yes, we do still have card catalogs. They're down in underneath, but I took an 8-year-old on a tour. His grandfather was someone important, and he needed entertainment. And I took him to the card catalog, and he had never seen one. And he said, can I look at it? He says, maybe I could look up my name and see if somebody with my same name had written a book. Sure enough, there was no book with the same name, but the same name as his father and his grandfather, so that was pretty cool. This is the librarian's office. It's a ceremonial office, and it's got lots of little nooks and crannies and cubby holes. The library is known for collecting materials, preserving materials, and sharing materials. And sometimes it's actually involved in finding the materials that they already collected. This is Dr. Billington, the Librarian of Congress, and I got to meet him. The first time I left the library, I had an exit interview. People who have been there forever said, I've never heard of anyone getting an exit interview. I don't know if they were glad to see me go, but anyway, it was kind of cool. So that's Dr. Billington. And in his office are these items, and these are the items that were in Lincoln's pockets the night he was killed. Well, the strange thing is, in that librarian's office is a little safe in a closet, and the former librarian before Dr. Billington happened to get into that safe, and in there was an envelope with these items. Now, they were preserving these items, I'm sure, but they didn't really know why they were there or that they were missing, which is a little embarrassing, I think, from a librarian's perspective. But really cool things showing the newspapers. We just had our talk about newspapers. Lincoln carried newspaper articles that were critical of him in his wallet. This was the wallet that he carried, and he also had a Confederate $5 bill. If you want to know more about that, you'll have to do some research. The Great Hall is just incredible, so if you haven't had a chance to see that, come. I'm actually a docent, and so I do tours of the building, and I still pinch myself that I get to work there. I also take people on tours in the nooks and crannies. And this happens to be one of the spiral staircases that prior to modern times, it was just a spiral staircase, but it became an easy place to run wiring and plumbing and things when they needed to go back and retrofit things. So you get to go down the spiral staircase and then see all the wiring too, which is just kind of cool. So there's beautiful places, there's kind of back roads places, but it's an incredible place to be, and if you ever get a chance to come to Washington, I'd encourage you to come.